One of the cardinal tools we use in coaching is reflections. See, reflection is not the time where you deal with blame games. No. Reflection is being able to come from a place of authenticity. What you are not at home, you will camouflage it at work. On this one, we are going to look at some ways to be able to put the life you have in a certain spectrum to make it meaningful. Thank you for sharing the first part of this discussion, which I delve a bit into work-life balance, and I made submission that work, the balances, our parenting, our relationships, our career, our profession, the academics we pursue, all comes back to form the microcosms of what life is. So if you want to bring harmony, you want to find rhythm, you want to find balance with life, it is important to be able to look at the life you have and what it means to you. What are you living that life for? Why do you think you have that gift? To what purpose do you have that abilities? To why are you parenting those kids? To why is that man or woman in your life? To why do you belong to that church? To why you belong to that community? To why all that comes to being able to understand the gift of life you have. So in the first part, we look at, is work-life balance a reality? And I responded that it is a possibility. If only we can find meaning to the life in the middle of work and balance. When we're able to find the purpose to why that gift is given to us. When we are able to understand that we are not here by accident, but we are here to fulfill something. You know, when you have that sensing that you are living for a higher call, when you have that feeling that you are not here just to add to the numbers, it is then that you understand the value of alignment, synchronicity, balance, rhythm, and harmony. So in the first episode, we just threw some light on that. On this one, we are going to look at maybe some ways to be able to put the life you have in a certain spectrum to make it meaningful. One of the things, because I am an executive coach, yes, Ghana's finest, Ghana's first ever master certified coach with the International Coaching Federation. One of the cardinal tools we use in coaching is reflections. So when I have a client and a session is ongoing, one of the tasks being able to bring the client to a reflection stage or phase for whatever the client brought to session. So to be able to live a work-life balance, in troubleshooting your life, one of the tools to use is reflections. See, reflection is not the time where you deal with blame games. No. Reflection is not a time where you apportion blames to look for your strength and your weaknesses. No, that is not that time for reflection. Reflection is being able to come from a place of authenticity and vulnerability, that it doesn't matter the past or the present, the moment, anything. In that moment, I will say me, myself, and I is having a dialogue. How do you know that your life is in synchronicity? Because when you reflect on how you show up at work, when you reflect on how you relate with your colleagues at work, when you reflect your zest, your passion towards career growth, professional development, when you reflect on all that, then you can mirror it when you are in your domestic environment. and check to see that is there a line that cut across. Because when there is the absence of a line, a straight line or a parallel that cut across, then you begin to know that something is amiss. Because if you're able to reflect what you are not at home, you will camouflage it at work. Let me take it again. What you are not at home, you will camouflage it at work. Because, for example, if you are a family man or a family woman, or if you are a couple without kids, how you treat each other becomes part of your subconscious programming. So when you show up in the workplace, you wouldn't be seeing your wife or your spouse. But remember, it's either a male or a female figure. Words are powerful. That is how come we say, I got triggered. So if you are able to reflect in a 360 degree, you start from here, go and come back and say, whoa, what am I seeing? What am I sensing? What results are showing up? Then you can come to the place of your beingness. So much so that you begin to audit and find out what choices are you making and not making. Whom are you being that it is producing the duality, the one at home, the one at work, the one with your social friends? And reflection is a powerful tool. Reflection is not the same as meditation. Reflection is being in the conscious state. So to bring meaning, to bring understanding, to bring exploration to your life or the phases of the life you live. Because work-life balance is not dealing with the work or it's not dealing with the balance. It hinges on the life you have. So you use reflection. It's just like if you don't like what is showing on the wall as a shadow, you go back to the original image. Exactly. If you don't like what you are seeing in the mirror, like our ladies, our wife, our sisters, they could be turning that wig around, they could be turning that shade around, they'll be fixing this. It's because what is showing up in the mirror is a reflection of the original. So to be able to create a work-life balance, use reflections. Reflect on the life you have. Reflect on the gifts you are to yourself and others. I always say, what you have not given to yourself first, you cannot give it to anyone. No wonder our lives are in phases. Okay. The second thing I want to bring to the surface of designing, building, evoking a work-life balance that is meaningful is through questioning. Because in coaching, one of our cardinal tools is the ability to ask non-judgmental, unbiased, or anything that does not create segmentation, questions of that nature or that manner. Because I explained in one of the episodes that, thank God, we have multiple brains. And each of them has got their own function. Maybe one time I'll take my time to discuss the heart brain, the gut brain, the head brain, the autonomic nervous system, and the pelvic intelligence. Yay! I have one friend, Caleb, currently resident in the United Kingdom. That guy loves conversation about the pelvic intelligence. I won't begrudge him. If you have all these brains and multiple intelligences and you don't have the ability to question your life, you will be falling short when you are discussing work-life balance. The way you spoke to your colleague on the job, question it. Why do you feel the way you feel when people pass some comments? Question it. Question why you don't have a relationship with your own kids. Question it. Question it when you notice that, there's a point where you realize that, what is there again to live for and everything? Question why you get to a point where life is not worth living it for you. Question it. Because without being able to question, without being able to thoughtfully and provocatively question your being, your doing, and the results you are having, it becomes strenuous for you to explore your work-life balance. And questioning is a powerful tool. I will always suggest have these questions occur when you are taking your bath, when you've gone for swimming, when you are walking in nature, when you are in the spaces where you can let all your guard down, when you are with people where you find comfort, you find the space to be you. Raise those questions in those moments, because it is one of the ways to program, deprogram, and reprogram your being. Yeah. Because your autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, I've always said to people that you are a human being that can think, because in your beingness, before you even develop this cephalic brain, this is the last born of all your brains. This one is the last born of all your brains. Before it even could develop, you felt. You could feel hunger. You had intuition with your mother, intuition with your father, intuition with your environment. But if you lack the skill to question, because a lot of the times, you know what we do? Because of accountability and responsibility, it is the reason why we run away from questioning. Why we don't want to subject ourselves to deeper digging of questioning. Why are you here? What does this life mean to me? What do I bring to the table? Interestingly, it's one of the questions that it has become an easy thing. What do you bring to the table? Maybe in a different episode, when it comes to relationship, marriage, life and stuff, we discuss what you bring to the table. But on this finalization of work-life balance, using the reflection and the questioning tool that we also use in coaching, it gets you to find the space, the vulnerability, the peace of mind, the ways of being that gets you want to question who you are, why you do what you do, why you are in that space of that friendship, that mastermind and everything, so that you can have your work-life balance. Share this episode if indeed it brought you so many insight with